when there's no more room in hell.
The dead will start a podcast.
Silence, son of Silas. What do you do? Woodsman.
Kronos! Kronos!
What is it? What's wrong?
Face! Look!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No More Room in Hell number 67. This is Mike. Joining me as always, it's Mr. Venom. What's up, Venom?
Greetings and salutations, British horror fans. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Had a good poker game last night. Got to party at a barbecue. It was a good Saturday night for Mr. Venom. How the hell you been?
I've been doing pretty well. Just chill weekend. Went to the movies, and other than that, mostly just relaxed. Nothing too crazy over here. What about you, Derek, who's also with us?
The fucking usual bullshit, living it down in Massachusetts, where it's like weird weather, like one day it's hot, but then the next day it's freezing again. So it's like you have to change your weather and you keep some winter clothes out still. It's weird.
Yeah.
We actually had that in California this week where it was like 100 degrees at the beginning of last week. And like yesterday, it didn't even hit 70. Like I was freezing.
Yeah, up here in NorCal, we're kind of at that time of the year where it gets warm during the day, and then like right when you're tempted to want to throw on your AC, then within like 2 hours it drops, and you're like, oh, now I can just let the breeze hit. But that's gonna run out probably within a couple weeks, and then it's gonna be, oh no, AC all the time.
Bah.
Bah. I actually just got my first credit card to get my first AC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a window unit, or what do you mean?
No, well, I have a window unit. I had it for a few years. It's time to just get a new one.
Oh, does your house not have central air? Is it like broken down, or?
No, we don't get central here, man. We live in the
Jets. Yeah, they're the Northeast.
Oh,
yeah, we get
like
central air here and like all through the southern U.S. But yeah, central air is not really common. I'm from Connecticut, so I can speak to it. But yeah, central air is not really common in the Northeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, AC window units all day, every day.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the Bay Area in California is like that, because even their peak summer, it like might touch the 80s a little bit, but for the most part, not. So like, I've been, when my uncle used to live in San Francisco, like if it was that rare summer day where it was actually hot, then it would suck. But for the most part, you don't really need AC there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, AC is always needed here in hell when we're talking movies.
Especially the first movie we were talking about with fucking baby stumps. We'll get into it when we get into it, but yeah.
Yeah. Shit. It's been a minute since we recorded. I don't remember exactly what month it was. Did we record in March? I can't remember.
I forget. I know it. Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, we still had
at least, yeah.
I still had Buddy when we did, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the episode before that we had recorded that took me a while to get out, but then last episode I got out pretty quick and on a turnaround. Well, shit. If we have nothing else to open with,
I turned a year older. I'm older. My birthday was a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, mine was last month. We're getting older.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Next year I'll be in the 40s. Oh boy.
Ooh. I remember the 40s.
Mike's in them now.
Yep, I'm in July. I'll hit the very middle of the 40s.
That's when I'm going to turn into Mike. Ah. fuck movies.
Is Mike the crotchety old man of the show?
Sometimes.
All right.
Yeah, it's funny because
depends on what movies we do.
a lot of my old coworkers at old jobs, like I knew I was like a little bit older than them, but not how much. And then like a lot of them this year are like hitting 40, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I know like where exactly they are in age. But yeah, it's weird. It's just weird because like I remember I turned 40 during the pandemic. Not that I usually care about my birthday anymore anyway, but like it just feels like wow, the pandemic year of 2020 was like already 5 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah. The way this year's turned fucking 26 is gonna be fucking RoboCop.
I don't even want to think about that.
So I can escape from New York. Call me Pliskin.
Yeah.
I'm just counting the days to 2030.
All right. Well, I guess we can get to our opening segment of what we watched. So, Venom, what's first up for you?
All right. Well, a quick little story about my movie here. Out here in Burbank, California, there is a store called Dark Delicacies, which is basically, it started out as a gothic bookstore, but then kind of turned into like a horror gift shop. Like they still sold books, but then they started selling movies and action figures and t-shirts and things like that. So they kind of became just an all-encompassing horror mecca of Southern California. Well, unfortunately, at the end of April of this year, they shuttered their doors for the final time. They've been in Burbank for, I believe, over 25 years. Like I said, just a place that I absolutely loved. And for their closing sale, obviously, when a store shutters, they, drastically drop the prices of their stock. So they were having a 3 for $5 Blu-ray sale for whatever remaining Blu-rays that they had in the store. Now, obviously, you're not going to find The Shining or Halloween necessarily, but you're definitely going to find a lot of indie and a lot of micro budget gems, if you will. And I just wanted to talk about one of them because one of them actually turned out to be pretty decent. I was pretty happy with it. So this movie's coming to us from December of 2015. This one is called The Atticus Institute. Now, anyone who knows me knows I am a huge fan of found footage in any form, whether it be like a traditional found footage movie or a documentary style, things like that. Well, The Atticus Institute is a documentary style found footage movie. And in this, a U.S. government agency, it sounds like a weird description, but for some reason, the movie actually works out. Basically, the U.S. government is attempting to weaponize the power of a possessed woman. This institute where they're, recording all of this footage brings in a possessed woman, a confirmed possessed woman. She's got a demon in her. She's got abilities, beyond what any human should be able to do. And of course, the geniuses in this U.S. government agency decide to try to weaponize her. And of course, this is a horror movie, so I think we all know how that's going to go. I had a really good time with it. Like I said, I'm very apologetic for found footage, and this one done in a documentary style, I thought was done really well. I mean, if you didn't know you were watching a movie, you would swear you were watching something, from the Discovery Channel or A&E or something like that. I mean, it was that well done. I will say the ending left me a little sour. We kind of get a cliche possession movie ending. They try to make it a twist ending, but if you're a savvy horror fan, especially, if you've been watching possession horror for a long time, you kind of see the ending coming. But aside from that, I would say if you can find this movie, like I said, I found this at a 3 for $5 Blu-ray sale. I don't even know what company put this out, actually. I should have looked that up before I came on here. But yeah, like I said, here we go. Oh, it's Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay put out the Blu-ray anyway. I'm not sure if they actually are involved with the production. It looks like Universal was a distributor in the UK, but here in the US, it was Anchor Bay. So yeah, like I said, if you like found footage and you like decent performances, because that's the other thing I was going to say is that there's not, there's no cringy performances here. Like all the performances are very solid. Nobody's exceptional or Oscar worthy by any stretch of the imagination. But for a micro budget documentary style found footage movie, I thought these performances were fine. I thought the story was going along really nicely. Like I said, we just get a little bit of a cliche ending. But if you're okay, forgiving that type of ending, I highly recommend this one. Like I said, if you can find it, the likelihood that you could, I mean, like I said, I found it in a bargain bin that's been ignored for probably about a decade. So if you can find it maybe on Tubi or Amazon Prime, I would suggest it. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. It's a quick watch. And like I said, it's a really well made little film, written and directed by Chris Sparling, if anyone knows who that is, because I don't. But
produced by Peter
I'm going to
Safran.
assume. What's that?
Peter Safran fucking produced it, which is I was actually reading
nice.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, it's a weird little movie, very ultra micro budget. It looks like it was shot on digital video, like there's no actual film involved. But like I said, if you're as forgiving and apologetic for this subgenre as I am, I absolutely adore found footage. And when it's done even mildly well, I'm always impressed. So yeah, I give a strong recommend to the Atticus Institute if you could find it. Like I said, that's coming to us from 2015.
5.5 for a micro budget in like found footage movie isn't bad actually on IMDb.
Yeah, and my rating would be higher actually. I mean, my personal rating definitely would be higher. Actually, I'm going to rate it right now while I'm on IMDb.
I'm looking at the fucking poster art, and that's fucking kind of why this movie is probably not more known.
Yeah, the poster's, pretty lame, pretty generic, nothing special. It's definitely not going to command your attention if you see it like if you see the banner like in a, new releases carousel or something. But for whatever it's worth, like I didn't even know it was found footage when I bought it. I literally was just looking for 3 movies that I've never seen before just to take advantage of the 3 for $5. And this one just turned out to be the diamond in the rough. So I wanted to bring it to the table. So yeah,
find it,
check it out.
One of the top of the cast ladies, she was just in Final Destination Bloodlines as the mom. Looks like
nice.
It all comes together.
There you go. Got some horror DNA in here. Nice.
And yeah, according to IMDb as well, it's also streaming on Tubi currently. So anyone listening,
nice. There you go, folks. You can watch it for free. And like I said, it's an hour and 20 minutes. It's a quick watch. So just forgive the cliche ending. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed IMDb added that feature lately. The only thing is, like, I don't know if they go full on, like, wherever it's streaming, they'll list it, or if they just have certain deals with, like, Prime and Tubi. Because, like, if you look up on IMDb now, like, close to the top, I know for sure if it's on Prime or Tubi, it'll list it. So that's kind of cool. All right, Derek, what do you got up first?
Okay, so yeah, I kind of did the same thing where I was like looking at movies that I bought recently, not recently. This one I had actually owned for a while as a steelbook I owned. Roger Corman production from the early 80s called Forbidden World. I have seen this movie before, but I actually watched the Mutant cut, which it's known under the title of Mutant, which is a kind of a longer version of this movie. Because I think the original like theatrical version was like an hour and like 10 minutes. You know how Roger Corman usually had like those quick fucking movies in theaters. Well, they did like a director's cut, which is titled Mutant, which is maybe like 20 minutes longer. Has a few more scenes. If you haven't seen this movie, it's kind of like an Alien like rip off where like they're doing like this research on this organism and it's turning into like this alien like xenomorph looking creature. If you've seen it, it's pretty it's kind of like an Alien ripoff, but it's kind of cheesy because you get like those Roger Corman sets where you can see like it's kind of funny because it's kind of noticeable and like the nice transfer of these movies. Like the walls are made out of they look like a takeout fucking containers like glued to the wall. So it's kind of cheesy in that aspect of the movie, but other than that, it has some gnarly like creature effects. Of course, for a Roger Corman movie, there's random scenes of girls like having serious conversations. What we should do about the alien while they're taking showers naked with each other in outer space. Why? Of course, that would happen. Of course, but yeah, there's even like an android character, which is kind of cool and gnarly. Uh, Weirdly, like they actually kind of remade this movie too in the '90s called Dead Space. It's the same like story and beats and everything, just a different cast. So it's kind of cheesy that Roger Corman would like remake his own fucking movies like every like fucking 10 years. But yeah, Forbidden World, it's fun. It's kind of cheesy, creature feature fun. If you're looking for like a cheesy B movie good time, I'd say give it a try. Did you guys ever see it?
I've seen the Wings Hauser mutant, but not this one. No.
Yeah, you probably know more under its like Forbidden World title. It has a very iconic poster where the creature on the actual poster, not even in the fucking movie. It's like fucking crazy how Roger Corman would do that and just make a poster. And yeah, this might not be in it, but it's not. It's like Forbidden World or Galaxy of Terror, where it has like that giant skull winged creature on its cover, but it's not in the movie whatsoever.
I think it's on Prime because I think I added it to my watch list like a few weeks ago, and I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
Prime has a lot of. I noticed that like a lot of the stuff on Tubi is also on Prime, so I don't know if like they have like a parent company or something. But I know I have noticed like a lot of the stuff that is on Tubi, it's usually not exclusive. It's like Tubi has it as well, but it's also spread across other places. Not always, but sometimes. But I am interested in watching it for sure.
nice.
All right, so my first one up. This is Irish folk horror that is currently on Shudder, and IMDb says AMC Plus, so they didn't they didn't do a good enough job to break it down to Shudder specifically. But I know you get Shudder with AMC Plus, but I still wish they would have also just said Shudder on there too. But anyways, I'm not sure if either of you guys have seen it. It was new on Shudder probably around the time we were originally going to record this episode, so it has been a minute because I didn't get a chance to rewatch it. At the time, it would have been like pretty new. So yeah, Irish folk horror set in the modern day, almost kind of like a Midsummer, where it's someone from like just regular civilization kind of going out now. Where it's not in the sense that like they're going to like this like pagan cult. It's just more like a small little cottage in like the Irish wilderness, so it still feels very modern. But it's a nursing student. She takes a job to basically, I think it might be like end of life care or just more care of that like an elderly woman needs. And of course she shows up, strange things start happening, and what small village likes outsiders? None of them do. So hostilities start happening, mysteries spring up that have to be figured out, and it always comes to some interesting conclusion. And it's like also solving like a mystery of the past from the village throughout the course of the movie. I thought that was pretty good. It's sitting at a 6.2 on IMDb now, which is pretty good. That's pretty good for a movie that like went straight to Shudder, at least for me. I don't remember this having any screenings here before. I didn't even know it existed actually before it hit Shudder. But if you're into like folk horror, this is pretty cool. Like it features pretty much everything I like in a folk horror. Would I say it's like up to the par of like some of the classics? Not quite, but I still liked it. Like if I had to give a top 10 of the year, this probably be on it somewhere. Probably not in the top 5, but like it would be in my top 10 currently. So have any of you guys seen it?
Did you give us the title?
Friwaka. I guess that's how it's
We
pronounced.
Waka forever.
Yeah. Frewaka.
I've seen this
Oh.
on AMC Plus and Shudder, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, for a minute it was like, when you open Shudder and they have like the featured scroll like at the top, it was on that, but Shudder, like within the period of like a couple weeks, they added so much stuff that like things were getting pushed out of that quicker than usual. But it's still, I believe it's still, when you click down under that where it's just the bigger category of all new stuff they added, I believe it's still sitting in there somewhere. So if you're in folk / cult, I would say more folk than cult. I don't think it goes full on like culty, but like definitely folky. And sometimes it can be the same, but sometimes there's a distinction.
Folky culty.
Yeah. But I recommend it for sure. And like I say, it's on Shudder.
Is it solid?
It's a solid piece of folk. It's folkin' solid.
Free Wonka forever.
All right, back to you, Venom.
All right. For me, again, a little caveat to this one before I get into the movie. Last week, a lot of longtime listeners know that I am also a toy collector. I collect Funko Pops, NECA figures, Todd McFarlane figures, things like that. So I have a big toy collection. I buy, sell, trade, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, last week, Funko announced that we're going to be getting new American Werewolf in London Pops. They're going to be releasing 2 new Pops. One of them is already out, and that's the David Kessler Pop. It's just him in his hiking outfit, just the outfit that he wears at the beginning of the movie. And then there's going to be a 6-inch werewolf. So David in his full werewolf form in a larger 6-inch pop. So because that announcement was made, I got kind of in the mood to watch werewolf movies. I watched American Werewolf. I watched The Howling. I watched, Dog Soldiers. And then I decided I kind of wanted to watch something new. I wanted to watch a werewolf movie that I haven't seen yet. There haven't been too many in 2025, so I started looking in the recent past. And while I was flipping through Netflix, I actually found a foreign werewolf movie that I had not seen. This one's coming to us from February 2023. It is coming to us from Sweden. Norway. The language spoken in the movie is Swedish, but the country is actually Norway. So this movie is, of course, Viking Wolf. Its original title, Viking Wolfen. So basically Viking Wolf in Swedish or Norwegian. I'm not sure which. But anyway, I ended up really, really liking this one. It's just the story of a girl. It's set in modern times, even though it's called Viking Wolf. There is a cold open set in, more medieval times during the times of the Vikings that kind of set up the story for the modern day. And basically, very similar to what we saw in Clown in a Cornfield. A girl moves to a new town with her single parent. And of course, werewolf shenanigans ensue. This one's another really quick watch, a quick 90-minute movie. It's on Netflix. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's not the goriest werewolf movie out there, but I thought this was a very emotional werewolf movie. Like there's a lot of, because of, who ends up, getting bitten, who becomes a werewolf. There's a lot of emotionality to this one. It's got a very somber ending. Assuming you buy into the story and you like these characters, then yeah, it definitely has a pretty sad ending. But yeah, I recommend this one. Like, I don't know how I missed this. Like I said, this is coming to us. It got an American release in February 2023. So it's only a little over 2 years old. And I'm actually upset that I missed it because I ended up enjoying this one a lot. I am a big fan of dramatic or emotional horror, whatever title you want to put on movies like that, a horror movie that actually makes me feel something, to me, that's definitely, worth spending my time on, movies like Cargo, movies like, not thinking of the Relic, if you remember the Relic from a couple of years ago. So movies like that actually bring the emotion, I'm very into. So like I said, Viking Wolf has that third act that has, a lot of conflicting emotions and things like that in there. Like I said, not the goriest movie in the world. The werewolf transformation, obviously some people, live and die by the transformation when it comes to werewolf movies. It was solid. It wasn't like the best I've ever seen, not by any stretch, but it's kind of done with, and it's done very slowly too. This isn't like they turn into a werewolf at a full moon type thing. This is basically as soon as they're bitten, they start to slowly turn, kind of like Lee Winnell's Wolfman from earlier this year, more of a slow transformation as opposed to just, a quick transformation when the full moon comes out. So I guess I'll ask, have either of you guys seen this one? And if you haven't, what are you doing? It's on Netflix.
I think I did actually see it when it came out. It's been so long since I watched it.
We watch way too many movies to remember everyone.
Yeah, because I do remember watching this because I remember like it being like everywhere when it first came out. Like I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. Yeah, I thought
I vaguely remember the title from when it came out, but I don't know why. I just never watched it. Either it wasn't readily available, or I don't know. We ended up just watching something else.
Yeah.
Valid.
I know 100% sure. I remember when it hit Netflix, and I remember adding it to my queue, and I think it might have just got buried because I cannot for the life of me remember watching it, but I know exactly the movie you're talking about.
Yeah. Like this one's got a much better poster than the Atticus Institute. It's got our main character, the girl on the cover with like a half werewolf face and half her face.
Yeah,
a little bit better.
It looks like a fucking Animorphs fucking book cover.
Why would you remind me of Animorphs?
Because I'm in that age group where I actually read Animorphs.
I know. Terrible. But anyway, yeah, if you're a fan of werewolf movies, I highly recommend Viking Wolf. Another quick watch. I liked it. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay, it's back to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a movie that I think you guys talked about on fucking Fresh Cuts that I finally got to see, and that's Death of a Unicorn.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fucking liked
awesome.
it. Yeah, I fucking loved it. Like, the thing that I'm a huge fan of the unicorns in general, and like this way of like mixing like more of like the mythology of like the other stories of unicorns and shit like that is kind of a cool aspect of this movie, which I think a lot of I just wish there was more movies like mythical beasts and like real world settings. Like I was kind of like a fan of like Reign of Fire when that came out with the dragons taking over the world. That type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I remember that. I like that one.
Yeah, they don't do enough of like mythical monsters in modern time movies, and it's this is kind of a cool one that kind of uses that aspect, and it kind of blends genres because I can't really straight out call this like a horror film, but it does have horror elements to it. It has the gore. There's a lot of but it blends like dark comedy, fucking action. Like even like. I had fucking Aliens vibes with the fucking tracker, fucking the meters going off whenever the unicorns are coming. Do 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 do. It was making the same sounds as Aliens. It's like, oh, okay. You get like those little like tinges of like genre bending, which I actually enjoyed. And I know it's not 100% perfect. There's some shots with like CGI, which I think could have been done better. It's mostly like some daytime shit. But some of like the good stuff happens. Like I did like that they kind of mixed a little bit practical within it with the unicorns, which I kind of respect for like these type of movies because a lot of movies like these days would be just full CGI. They do use some CGI here and there within this movie, but they mixed it with some practical effects, which I thought were really cool. Like like the little dead baby unicorn puppet was kind of a cool prop. You never really because. Yep. You don't really see that anymore in movies, so it's kind of cool that it did have that aspect of it. Is it 100% perfect? I don't know, but I had fun with it, what it was. I'll throw it on. It has fucking classic Loki in it. Fucking Richard E. Grant being an asshole. He's the best
A
asshole
major
ever.
asshole.
He's one of the best assholes ever.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we did review it on Fresh Cuts, and I think all three of us enjoyed it in varying degrees. I think I enjoyed it the most. I had a really, really good time with it. Like, I like Paul Rudd, even though he's, kind of plays a shitty, disconnected dad in this one, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way at times. But overall, he played his part well. But I mean, Jenna obviously is awesome. Will Poulter is basically Will Poulter in every fucking movie that he's in. But I thoroughly enjoyed the third act. Like, once the rampage starts, I had a blast with this. I absolutely and yeah,
Leone,
I mean,
fucking that her scene, that was fucking great.
Oh, on the pool table. Hell yeah, that was great. No, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of fun to be had in this movie. Not a perfect film by any stretch. I mean, if I had to give the year a top 10 right now, it would barely make it. It would be low top 10, but it would be up there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I absolutely love the whole vision thing, the vision that the unicorn gives you when you touch its horn. Like, that all looked really trippy. I'm a big pothead, so obviously I like looking at stuff like that. But yeah, I had a blast with it.
Yo, were you guys in the fucking Legend vibes when they cut the horn off?
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking for Mia Sarah the whole time.
Fuck yeah. we get to find her in Life of Chuck.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, a damn good movie. Highly recommend. I'm not going to say one of the best of the year, but a strong recommend. I mean, obviously it's not in theaters anymore, because I would recommend seeing it in theaters. There's some beautiful visuals in this one. I got some questions for Derek about this one, but we'll do this off the air, because this might go into a big old tangent. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I loved it. I recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked it. Thought it was cool. Definitely genre bending too.
Oh yeah,
because I remember a lot, like when it came out, a lot of the criticism is a lot of people thought it was like more of like a horror movie, and there was elements of horror, because obviously once the unicorn started going on a rampage, like obviously we get that stuff, but like some people thought it took too long to get there. But I overall enjoyed it.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Werewolves Within from like a few years ago.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, I remember when we reviewed it, I kind of compared it a little bit to Knives Out. Not that it's anywhere near as good as Knives Out, but I mean the first half, like before.
Yeah, it's
all
like
the
an
actual
ensemble,
horror
people
happens.
fucking yelling.
Yeah,
at each other.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'll take the cast of Knives Out over Death of a Unicorn any day of the week, but it just,
I don't know.
that's why I was able to enjoy the first half of the film. That was my original point, is that even though the horror took a while to get to, I still enjoyed, the idiosyncrasies of this family, their stupid attitudes, their, beliefs and shit like that. It was entertaining enough to get me to the horror. And then once we get there, I get to see, Richard E. Grant get fucking impaled. So yeah.
Yo, that male fucking unicorn's horn was fucking balling.
That was gnarly as hell. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. That thing looked like it could do some damage.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, so on to me. So I have been kind of like not been interested in a lot of like 2025 horror outside of what we've been seeing in the theaters. Like, I've been struggling to find stuff on VOD, but I did end up taking my daughter to see the new Final Destination. I'm obviously not going to talk about that too much right now, because we're about to do a Fresh Cuts episode on it in a few days. But what I will mention, and kind of throw this into like what I've been watching segment is that was actually her first Final Destination movie. So like after we got out of the theater, I asked her how she liked it, and she gave it a thumbs up. And I found out that all 5 of them leading up to that are currently streaming on Max. So like I just kind of threw it out there. I was like, well, did you like it enough to want to watch? The other ones, I didn't really expect her to say yes, because my oldest, she just has that kind of stubborn streak in her, like whatever my parents like, I'm not into. like just by default. But she's getting older now, so she's starting to lose that like.
Especially the first one has Stifler in it, so she's like, okay, I'm in.
She doesn't even know who Stifler is though, so which is funny because that's the first thing I said to my wife when we brought it up on HBO Max. Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot Stifler's in this," and my daughter has no idea what that reference means yet.
She will.
Yeah, I'm sure she will eventually. But anyway, so she was like, "Yeah, like I want to watch the other ones." So this was actually, what was it, yesterday? Because as of recording this, Final Destination 6 has just come out. So we actually ended up watching the first three. I thought she was going to cut out after one, not because of not liking it, but just does she really want to sit there with me and watch movies all day? But she kept liking them. And so that aside,
gateway movies, man.
Yeah, that aside, I was just going to mention, like, watching, the franchise from the start, because it's been a while since I've seen the early ones. It is kind of interesting how, like, at least the first two, even some of the third, the tone is like very dark in those early ones. Like, you have obviously
the laser I kill is my fucking worst nightmare ever.
Yeah, you have like death chasing him down. You have the I can't remember if it's cops or FBI guys constantly chasing him because they think the guy's
every movie
guilty.
There's always a new FBI guy.
Yeah, and I just feel like the deaths, the way they're like planned out and like come to fruition. Obviously, they get more over the top as the franchise goes on, and that's actually a bigger question about franchises I thought we could ask later. But it just feels like more dark, and like it doesn't feel like anything's played for laughs like early in the franchise. And because it's been so long since I've seen the early ones, I just found that pretty interesting. That like how that kind of happens, not just with this, but like in a lot of horror franchises where it's hard to keep the serious tone because just as viewers, probably even the people making them, it starts to become so self-aware where it's like almost like an inside joke, like when things are getting set up for like kills, and to maintain the over-the-top nature of them, it kind of just stops being like scary and almost like funny in a sense. But anyways, just to say that, like, yeah, those first few Final Destination movies, I think outside of just the kills themselves, I think they're pretty like interesting and fun movies, and kind of like dark in nature. So I don't know how long it's been since you guys have seen like the early ones.
I've never been on a roller coaster since part 3.
I just watched them all last week too. I guess I agree with you. I can kind of see what you're talking about. Yeah, it's kind of hard to look back at the first couple with the lens of never having seen one before, like once you're kind of used to the formula and everything else, it's hard because this isn't a franchise that I gravitate to either. This isn't like a favorite franchise. This is one of those franchises that I feel every movie is in the franchise is solid, but none of them are really exceptional to me. You know what I mean? They end up just kind of being...
I actually agree with you.
Yeah, like I like them all. I don't dislike
they're all fun.
any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like
I will say...
I'll also say this real quick and then I'll let you go. I feel like all the movie, they understand the type of movie they need to be, but outside of that, they don't do a whole lot, which isn't bad. It doesn't make them bad. They're still fun and good. And I'll probably always want to see the new one because of the kills. But beyond that, I don't think they're like great.
Yeah, I'm with Derek on the kills too. I mean, I think that Final Destination kind of leans into the CG a little too much. Like they do some kills practical, yes, but the ones that are CG are very CG, and they almost take you out of it. Like I just watched 5. I watched part 5 on Friday night before I went to see the new one on Saturday morning, and some of the kills in the bridge collapse are so cartoonish because it's just all CG. Like that one guy getting cut in half, like how do you not laugh when you see that? Like that's not meant to be taken seriously, I don't think, in any way. So to kind of piggyback on Mike's point, I think it's a purposeful choice that these horror franchises, the longer they go, they end up being more quote unquote fun, because ultimately I think it's about dollars, man. I think about the fact that, Night of the Living, excuse me, not Night of the Living Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. Let's take that for example. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 made 5 times the amount of money that the first one made. But we all know that the first one is objectively better. It's legitimately scary and off-putting and amazing atmosphere and tension. But then they start getting more fun, and you notice ticket sales go up. Like, I'm pretty sure that when they did part 3, when they did Dream Warriors and saw how much money that movie was making, Freddy Krueger was never going to be serious again after that. He was always going to be that kind of goofball that has a one-liner.
He was doing fucking music videos with Fat Boys.
Hey, my boy Jason did a video with Alice Cooper, so he's not much better. So I'll shut up about that. But yeah, like I said, all in all, it's not really a franchise for me. I enjoy the kills. I trust me, I enjoy watching young, attractive people get killed in the most fucked up ways. It does this old man's heart really good, excuse me. But it's just not really something that I gravitate towards. I'll watch them when a new one comes out, but I'll likely never watch. Like if there's not another Final Destination ever to be released, I may never watch another one of the other ones, because it's not something that I would gravitate towards. And then my last point is, I got to say, Mike, without talking too much about Bloodlines, that's actually a great chapter to start someone on Final Destination. So if anybody listening to my voice has never seen a Final Destination movie and you're thinking about going to see Bloodlines, I would say do it. It's actually not a bad place to start. It's a good little starting point. Chronologically, as far as date goes, it is technically the first movie in the franchise, without giving away too much. But our movie opens in the 1960s. So I like the time change, the period change. I like the little bit of a tweak that they did to the standard Final Destination setup. Overall, I had a good time with this. Like, sometimes I might say something like, was this movie even really necessary? But after watching it, I'm okay with its release. I had a good enough time with it. They subverted, some of our expectations. Obviously, when you watch the 6th chapter in a horror franchise, there's certain expectations, but they still did a good job of subverting some of those. Overall, I had a good time with it. Like I said, it's not a be-all, end-all movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fun. I would say if you haven't seen Sinners, go see Sinners. But if you've already seen Sinners, then go check out Final Destination and have a good time. It's fun.
And then the crossover where they cross over with each other.
Oh, yeah. God. How are vampires going to handle death trying to kill them? That's interesting.
Ryan Coop. They get Blade.
Yeah, I do agree that this is actually, or the new one was a good one for folks new to the franchise. It isn't really going to ruin anything, or there's no real like hard connections.
Did you watch part 5 with your daughter? Yeah, Mike.
No, we watched the first 3, and they went to their grandma's house today. But she did say when she comes home, she's like, "Can we watch 4 and 5?" So.
Even like, because part 5 does have some CGI kills, because I think it was filmed in 3D. The ending of part fucking 5 is the best end.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Kinda, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if 5 was your first one, the ending might like put a question mark to you, but like 6 doesn't really have that within the story and everything that happens. So I was actually I wasn't overly concerned, only because like for all I knew that was going to be a one-off and she wouldn't have been interested in the other ones anyway. But the fact that she was, it was still reassuring that like 6 could work as an entry point.
Because I didn't watch it yet, because I'm kind of like even crazy that they got fucking Tony Todd in the movie. I didn't even know he filmed scenes for a fucking new Final Destination. I was kind of like, mind. Look, I'm gonna see it eventually. I want to, just for that, because Tony's Tony,
Hell yeah. All right, back to Venom.
That scene. I'm gonna have a lot to say tomorrow night about that scene, but I'm gonna keep it under my hat for now.
Okay. I didn't watch it yet, so I'll let you know.
No, yeah, that's why I'm not going to say anything.
Who's next?
Back to
Michael.
Venom.
Oh, you got to introduce me, man. All right. So the last movie I'm bringing to the table this time, it is finally a 2025 movie, and it is my turkey of the month. This movie was awful. I had such a horrible time. What's funny is that on any given night, I would have just stopped this movie like a half hour in. But because I watched this movie the day before I went to see Clown in a Cornfield. And when I tell you what this movie is, it's going to make sense because I figured, let me go ahead and watch at least one other 2025 clown horror movie just to kind of have a compare and contrast thing. Well, my friends, I wasted an hour and 19 minutes on The Forest Clown. Yes.
Oh,
it's labeled
awful.
as a horror comedy. Oh, God, the poster is awful. The title is awful. The villain is awful. The hero is awful. Like, I mean, it's shot. It literally looks like it was shot on an iPhone and not even a good iPhone. Like, I know we had that movie a few years back that was shot entirely on an iPhone, Unsane, I think it was. This looks like it was shot on an iPhone. It just looks so bad. There's no actual fake blood in the movie. Every time there's a kill, there's a CGI blood splat on the screen. It literally looks like it's floating in the movie world. Like it's not even part of that world. It's just kind of, my friends, I can't put in the words how absolutely awful this movie was. It's basically the story of a girl returning to her hometown. A clown starts killing off, good looking white people. And, later they find out that the clown actually has a connection to the town.
Did Don and Ellie fucking recommend this movie to you?
Who?
Don and Ellie.
I don't think Don and Ellie would even like this movie. Like, this thing is awful. Like, I think The Asylum would laugh at this movie. Like, no, The Asylum is Oscar worthy compared to this goddamn thing. Like I said, it's not good. It's not a good story, not a good villain. Some of the kills are okay, but they still look really cheap. Like, there's one kill where the clown pulls someone's eyes out, like pulls their eyes out of their head, but it looks like a prop from Spirit Halloween. Like it looks so fucking bad. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, the only reason I'm bringing this up is to hopefully get you folks to just avoid it. Even if you're a fan of clown horror, I guess if you're a clown horror completionist, go ahead and check it out, but don't say I didn't warn you. This was an hour and 19 minutes wasted that I will never get back, and I'm not happy about it. But at least the silver lining is I went to see Clown in a Cornfield the next day and ended up absolutely loving that one. So maybe because Forest Clown was so bad, I ended up liking Clown in a Cornfield more. Who knows? I'm done.
Mic drop.
Fuck this movie.
I'm taking your advice.
Never again.
All right. Derek,
Okay.
what you got?
All right. So I've been watching fucking The Last of Us. I'm not good. Did anybody watch it yet? I'm not going to spoil anything if nobody's watched it yet here. But
I've only watched the first episode, but I did play the whole game all the way through, so I'm pretty sure I know where the story is.
you know it's coming. But yeah. But anyways, yeah. It's a pretty great season so far. Word for like I was just fucking loving like watching like because I watched the episode where something happened, but I'm not gonna say what happened. And then I watched all the reaction videos to it, and everyone was fucking. It's like playing the game all over again. It was fucking great. But
yeah, I know. I watched all those reaction videos 3 years ago when the game came out. It was just watching it again now.
Yeah, it was fucking great. It's like watching fucking Glenn die again. But anyways, fucking yeah, it's pretty good. Like I love like the new additions, like the new like cast of characters. Like I don't know if like a fucking Jeffrey Wright's character when he comes into play, like in this season, it's pretty great so far how that he was introduced. it's pretty great so far for a second season. I know it's going to be a very divisive season for a lot of non-gamers who actually, I'm going to just watch this without playing the game, and we're going to find out if it's going to be any different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine after that episode, a whole slew of middle-aged moms stopped watching The Last of Us.
Oh, the girl, the girl. Oh, by the way, the girl who played Abby, she fucking won a fucking Emmy for the fucking scene too. She was fucking great.
Oh, good.
Fucking,
Nice.
yeah, she was pretty great actress.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm only one episode into the second season. I'm in no major hurry to watch it since I played through the game. I mean, unless they drastically change the story, I can't imagine, I'm going to miss too much, but I'll watch them as I get to them. One complaint that I have, though, after one episode of the second season is Joel's attitude. And I understand that they're kind of setting up something that's going to happen later, but all throughout that first episode, it just felt like he was so just disconnected, and considering everything he went through in the first season to save this girl, he seemed very, very disconnected. And like I said, I know that was a purposeful choice by the filmmakers, the showrunners, but it was a little disheartening because I feel like, what can I say without spoiling anything? You know what? I'm going to skip the point completely because on the off chance that someone hasn't started the season yet, there's a pretty big event happening very early in the season. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah, maybe we'll actually have a Last of Us podcast so we can talk more in depth about it. But yeah, I liked the episode overall, but I did have a little bit of issues with how they portrayed Joel to start the second season. But I'm sure the season is going to be great anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. For that first episode. One thing I could say is another great addition is for some of the townspeople, that there's some good character actors in there, and there's a scene that involves Robert John Burke, who plays a fucking great, like that scene in general in like dance hall was fucking intense.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, so it actually plays out later on the season. I won't give too much away with that, but I hope you'll actually enjoy that aspect of it. I think, Venom.
Yeah, I played both games. The first Last of Us was amazing. I think the second one was even better. As far as the show goes, I've been pretty much pleased with all of it. Like, there's been some obvious changes, but to me, it just makes sense because they don't have like 20 to 30 hours of campaign story to tell, because if I had any major complaint, it just feels like they are having to condense the story. Like they're moving through events of the games pretty quick, because I think like season 2 there's only 2 more episodes of it feels like it just started, and I think last week was the 4th episode or 5th. So I remember thinking that when season 1 wrapped, like, wow, like it's over fast, and now second season seems fast, but they are splitting the second game into 2 seasons, so I mean that makes sense. And yeah, listening to like reaction of the show versus like the game, there was a lot of pissed off people about certain thing in the game, and I feel like it's the same bitter people just recycling the same hate for the same thing happening in the show. I mean, I'm not saying specifically what it is, but anyone who's played the game or watched the show or both knows what I'm talking about, because they've probably seen like the lame backlash. And like, I'll say the same thing that I said when I talked about it in the game. It's their story to tell. Like, just because you like a certain character doesn't make it a requirement that like the entire like story revolves around them forever. Like, and to me, when like once you got to the end of the second game, or not even the end, but just like once you're like hours into it, it makes sense like why it happened. Once the story that develops, I mean, you understand what they were going for, and it's fine. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the backlash. I remember. I think that backlash started because didn't the some of the plot of the second game leak ahead of time, so it like even started before the game came out. And like I remember like posts being like, "Oh, people are gonna be pissed," and I didn't read what it was. I never read what the spoilers were because I think I didn't get Last of Us 2 day one because it might have been between like when it might have come out like between like two generations of a console, so I like waited for like the upgrade. I don't know. It's been
PS4, PS5.
Yeah, that might have been
I remember.
what it was.
Yeah, I do remember Mike saying that you were waiting for the upgraded one for one of those games. It might have been Last of Us 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Because now I'm kind of in the same situation.
Actually, about the
GTA
both PS5 versions, I'm actually replaying the PS5 versions of them. They look great.
Nice.
Yeah,
like, I never traded in my Last of Us Part 2. I still have it, so I could pop that in anytime.
Yeah, I think
the shit out of the Rat King again.
I want to say the remastered version of the first one is free on PlayStation Plus right now.
Nice.
So I'm hoping eventually the second one will, because I might grab that. Although, man, hard drive space, got to get another hard drive or something.
Yeah, but it's okay.
One other thing I will say about that first episode of the second season is I do like how they humanize the Fireflies. Like in the game, when the second game starts, there's not really a lot of positive interactions with the Fireflies. But in the first episode of the series, we get that great scene where they're burying their dead. It's like they're humanizing them, but considering the events that are about to come, it makes sense. So I did like that.
Yeah. And you kind of see, like, especially I actually rewatched like the final episode of season 1, like the aspects of how they shot like that ending where he just goes off and kills all those soldiers. It kind of buries it because they make it a point to show like lingering bodies in that episode. So like, in that aspect, Joel's kind of, he's doing the right thing for her, but it looks like for a lot of other people, like he's fucking going around just killing all these fucking people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's that old adage, you might be the hero of your own story, but you're the villain in somebody else's story.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West.
Exactly what we're getting here. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and not to mention that, like, when you kind of look back at the end of the first game, it wasn't just what he did, but he kind of took the agency against Ellie to make that choice for herself, and he tried to come up with like a bullshit reason. And that's why like the second season and the second game kind of pick up where they are. Like there's like this uncomfortable like silence between them. But it all makes sense. Like I said, I think it's well written, and I understand like what happens to a certain character. Yes, it's like devastating, and it's like, oh damn, like it was. If you didn't read the spoilers that leaked, I agree, it's surprising and like shocking in the moment. But when you see what they were doing with the story of the second game, to me, it's like it makes sense. It's fine. Stop crying about it.
Yeah, the worst thing I had to see about
No, go ahead.
The only thing that like the aspect of like the show and it's coming out now that I hate is like every post is like making fun of the poor fucking actress playing Ellie. Like, Jesus Christ, leave the poor kid alone. She's just trying to do a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, and it's like, okay, when was the first season? 2 years ago? If you made a post 2 years ago saying the show's unwatchable because of Bella Ramsey, I don't want to see any more posts from you about the show because you just told me you can't watch it.
Exactly.
But if you're still making posts about the show, you're obviously still watching it, so it wasn't that big of an issue. So, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you have an issue with Bella Ramsey's portrayal or just her acting in general, the issue's deeper than her acting because she was brilliant on Game of Thrones and she's fucking brilliant here. And to go back to Mike's point about, after this big event happens and how people are complaining, these are the same people that can't watch shows like Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead because of major characters dying almost on a weekly basis. These people that you spend years with and then suddenly they die. it's the same people that were complaining back then that are complaining now. Like, people just can't wrap their head around a main or major character in a property dying early. I mean, we got, obviously, Game of Thrones, there's multiple examples, but I mean, I remember Ned Stark dying before the season finale of season 1.
He was on every fucking poster.
Exactly. And people, I mean, literally, people were like, it was, I don't know, it was almost like the Nazi party tried to take over America again. Like, people were just up in arms over this thing. And it's like, it's a
Kill
fictional fucking character. Yeah, get over yourself. I actually wanted to see Joffrey live longer because he was such a great villain. People don't appreciate great villains as much as they appreciate great heroes. And that's sad.
The best part is who actually killed him. Diana Rigg. It was fucking awesome.
I loved it.
It was great.
She was so great. That scene was awesome. I absolutely loved it. She got to go out the way she wanted.
Like a G.
Anyway, let's get off of the sword and sandal shows.
All right. So my last one, I kind of had two choices because I was originally it was gonna be Ugly Stepsister because it was a lot more recent that I had seen it when we were originally gonna record. Went to the theater. It released here the same week as Sinners, so that was like a weekend I was able to see two movies, and I really liked it. A Norwegian kind of retelling of the Cinderella story. I thought the set designs were cool. I thought the characters were cool, fun. Some gnarly, like old school, like plastic surgery from that era that looked damn painful. Lots of like commentary on beauty standards and the keeping up with the Joneses stuff. It almost would make like a decent double feature with a movie like The Substance, kind of, because I feel like they hit on some similar themes just in much different ways. So I know we talked a little bit about Ugly Stepsister on Fresh Cuts. Like, I think was it the end of the Sinners episode or was it a different one? I can't remember. But
it would have had to have been the episode after, because I didn't see Ugly Stepsister the weekend it came out. Yeah.
Okay.
I still have not seen Ugly Stepsister, so
it's on Shudder now. So
God damn it,
it's out.
It's on that Shudder, bitch.
Yeah, and then the other major thing I watched finally after, because I think this has been out for a few years, but it's on Prime right now. It's the Pennywise Story of It documentary on making the 1990 made for TV miniseries, and I loved it. Like I said, like
Catch me, fat boy.
A lot of nostalgia for me just because I was 10 when it came out, so kind of at that age, we were still living in just the pre-internet era where like you would go to school and like everybody had seen it, everybody was talking about it. But this documentary was pretty extensive. They went over a lot. Great to see Tim Curry getting talked up, and it great to see how the story of like how the people got cast. It was a mix of like some known child actors, but others not so known at this point. And
it's a fucking green, baby.
Yeah, and it was just cool because I think going into this miniseries, when you talk to the creators, they understood like the difficult task of trying to like adapt this story, because Stephen King goes like full Stephen King in certain elements, and they're like, yeah, we're definitely not gonna be able to put that in there, or how do we change this around to make it acceptable for TV?
We can't show an orgy on TV.
Yeah, and they all kind of make the joke that like at the time of doing this documentary, and the interviews are like, well, now if we made the same thing now, we could have got away with so much more, because it's much more like even network TV is much more friendly to a lot of this content.
Did they talk about the space lobster?
They did. Yeah, they talked about like how it was like kind of difficult to figure out how to adapt that ending, and they were kind of disappointed with what they went with, but yeah, I won't spoil the whole thing. But
nice, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, I remember watching it when it came out because my wife and I are both huge fans of that original It presentation. We've met Tim Curry multiple times. I mean, literally our favorite living actor. So any opportunity I can get to get a photo op or just shake his hand, I'll always take it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that documentary was pretty damn awesome. I think I actually have watched it twice already because I think I watched it once alone and then once with Mrs. Venom too, and she loved it as well. So yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a sucker for those. I watch the Pet Cemetery one all the time. If I can one.
Yeah, some of these documentaries, though, man, they're 4, 5, 6 hours long. Like they're getting a little too like.
Yeah.
I understand there's a lot of information out there, but like split it up into parts. Like do the documentary part 1 and part 2. Like I don't know, something about putting out a 4-hour and 40-minute documentary just sounds pretentious to me.
And the other thing is, when you charge it on Blu-ray for fucking like $70, fucking
The RoboCop one on
Yup.
Prime is like episodes. I think there's like
See, that
4
would be more
episodes.
acceptable. I'd be okay with that. And I know I can just hit the stop button whenever I get, tired of watching and just pick it up later. But I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for the actual presentation. If it's put out there in a single 4-hour and 40-minute long video, I want to watch it that way. If they would split it up into like 4 1-hour episodes, then I'd like to watch it that way too. That's fine.
there's actually a great like documentary on like the fucking one of the movies we're talking about tonight, in the Screaming Starts, on the actual.
Oh
Blu-ray.
yeah, I did run across that. I didn't watch it, but I in my search for like info, I did run across that.
Yeah, they actually a whole documentary about like where they filmed it, like in Oakley Court, which is fucking gnarly. We'll talk about it more when we actually talk about the
Have
movie.
you guys seen the Monster Squad doc?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah! I bought fucking the 4K just to watch it fucking 500 times because it comes with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but it is on the 4K. I noticed. I do need to get to that one.
Fuck yeah. I love all that shit. Fucking, I gotta get the fucking Creep Show one still. Just Desserts.
Just Desserts. Yeah, I bought that one right away because I went to a signing, like an autograph session, where like the guys who made it were there signing the Blu-ray. If you bought one,
Oh, that's cool.
that was
Is
pretty
it on
cool.
the
I didn't
Creep Show
recognize
4K?
anybody.
Do you know?
What's that?
Is it on the Creep Show 4K?
No, it is not.
'cause it-
the
weirdly-
4K. No, I have the 4K. No, it's not on the 4K because it's a separate disc. Yeah.
Yeah, because it came out from a different company too. Synapse actually put that fucking bad lyric out.
Yeah, because
Kind of crazy.
It's like an
anthology,
unauthorized doc.
Yeah.
They put out the Pet Cemetery one too. I think that's the one I owned. I got that as a gift one year.
Yeah. I do want to watch the Alien one. I just gotta find 4 hours.
Yeah, I got that one on fucking Blu-ray too. I still got the Origin, and that one's pretty good.
Nice. That's the shorter one, right?
I think so.
Or is that the
There's a
longer
few-
one? Okay.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking crazy.
At least 2 like major.
I had
production
fucking 2
Alien,
fucking Friday the
documentaries
13th ones.
come out.
I had like a fucking shorter one that was hosted by Tom Savini. And I had the fucking 7-hour one. Fucking
The Crystal Lake Memories. Yep. I
yeah,
have that. Oh, of course I have that. Duh. Why wouldn't I?
yeah. The Nightmare on Elm Street one. Have them all.
I'll
Fucking
never sleep again. Yeah.
those are all
Yeah.
good.
I've seen that one. I don't own it, but it's also good.
They're all good. Watch documentaries, guys.
I don't ever sleep again for a while. It was streaming somewhere. That's how I watched it. And I watched it in like
It was on
segments.
Shudder. It was on Shudder.
Maybe that's
Yeah, it
where
was on Shudder
I
for a little
watched
while.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was like my going to bed documentary where I watched like an hour of it at a time.
Yeah, I watched that and the Friday the 13th one. They had the fucking folk horror one on there. That one's pretty fucking gnarly too.
Dude, that's a long one. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you could just fucking watch and just fucking sleep and wake up and it's still on.
Well, they get into like some deep cuts on that one. from what I
I'm like,
remember.
I woke up and it was showing scenes from Pumpkinhead. I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh man. All right. Well, unless you guys got anything else you want to add, that's gonna do it for the what we watched segment.
Thank God. What are we gonna talk about now? Is there any news?
R.I.P. Tony Todd, but that's not really new news anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
just
like
sad.
it's back in
Is-
the ether since the movie just came out.
Yep. And
Plus,
we
they
do-
didn't give him a thing for the Oscars, assholes.
dude, it is interesting that like the scene that he does in the movie kind of feels like almost like breaking the fourth wall with a send off. Like
Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm going to have a lot to say about that scene tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like fucking Bowie releasing his last album the day he died. Like fucking,
Yeah.
that was fucking.
Oh, right. We got the reveal of the new Jason.
It looks like the old Jason.
AI. Well, I mean, all they have, I forget who it is, but a studio just bought the rights to Jason. So they've created something called the Jason universe, which isn't gonna, it's gonna incorporate like TV shows, a new movie, video games, comic books, blah, 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 blah. And just this
Jason
week they released
DC universe.
JCU.
Hey, I'll take it.
VCU, Voorhees Cinematic Universe.
But I mean, the design is done by Greg Nicotero, so for whatever it's worth, at least there is some horror cred behind it. I know a lot of people on the internet were kind of making fun of it this week because it just kind of looks like a basic AI picture that looks like somebody did in like 5 minutes. But I mean, it's Jason. I don't need a lot. You give me the grubby clothes, you give me the hockey mask with the red chevrons and a machete, and I'm happy. I don't need much. So,
yeah, I mean, it looks close enough to like the classic Jason that
Bring back Roy.
No. At least not as Roy. Let him play somebody else. Damn it. Well, he's not even with us anymore, right? That actor, he's not with us anymore, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think he ate a hot dog
I could swear a few years ago, remembering that Roy had passed, but I might be wrong. I'm sure someone will correct me.
Well,
he did fall into spikes in that movie. So
much to Venom's excitement, Jennifer Love Hewitt is set to narrate "I Know What You Did Last Summer" docuseries. They know what they did. Because who was asking for a documentary on "I Know What You Did Last Summer"?
Lacey Lou.
I mean, I'm sure she'll be happy, but
she's gonna kill us when she hears this, guys.
Well, like if there was like a Scream documentary announced, I would at least understand. Because to me, even though I don't think all the Screams are fantastic, at least Scream carries that weight. Whether it's with me or not doesn't matter. But I Know What You Did Last Summer. No, no, it does
not. Let's see what else we got. Debut episode of Alien Earth will release on August 10th. So keep
Timothy Oliphant,
all you Alien fans. Yes.
Do we know
and it's gonna be a 2-episode premiere. 2 episodes. So nice.
Do we know the timeline? Is that like supposed to take place?
It's a prequel. It's a prequel to everything.
Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Prequel to everything. Prometheus, all of it.
At the end, Michael Fassbender's there.
Wait, I don't think it can be a prequel to Prometheus, right? Prometheus,
I think it is. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure like the Earth is still like inhabited. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I haven't.
We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. But then we do have some sad news for horror fans, and I know this is something that me and Derek both. It definitely hit close to home. Our friend, the star of 1980s Alligator, Morris the Alligator, passed away last week. Now, you guys got to know this alligator if you've ever seen Happy Gilmore. Like I said, Alligator. Oh, damn it, I forgot the list. There's a whole slew of movies that Morris has been in. But yeah, he passed away last week. Obviously, yeah, and me and Derek, for those who don't know, for those who listen to our Creature Feature podcast, Creature Comforts, of course you know, but yeah, me and Derek are big fans of Ramon the Alligator from the 1980 film Alligator. We had a great time reviewing it on the show, and when I saw the news, I'm like, wow, like I to even think that he was still alive. I mean, I obviously have no idea how long alligators live, but I guess they can live a long ass time. Yeah. And he was already an adult when he did Alligator. It's not like he was a baby alligator either. He was already full grown. Dude, so, I mean, these things last.
That's fucking nuts.
But yeah, so rest in peace, Morris. Derek brings up a Razor Ramon impression on Creature Comforts every couple of episodes. And it always reminds me of Ramon the Alligator. So rest in peace.
That's his theme song. And every time he comes through the sewer.
If it wasn't copyrighted, I would have used it.
I think we did originally use it though, but then we had to stop doing that.
Well, I mean, I tried to, but it wasn't going to work. Like even even after 30 seconds of Razor Ramon's intro, it got flagged. So yeah, no good.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone who's not tired of the Disney cinematic horror universe, Bambi the Reckoning is on its way.
Oh yeah, we've got so. I mean, I think we got a Donald Duck one that's already in production because that license or that copyright expires in a couple of years. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's getting so bad. I feel like they hit. Well, maybe they didn't hit a home run, but they hit like at least a double with the Winnie the Pooh movies. Like I enjoy both of those, but it just seems like it's diminishing returns now on every fucking, childhood property turned into a horror movie. Screamboat, which came out very recently, is probably still the best of the quote unquote Steamboat Willie horror movies. I'd probably say Popeye the Slayer Man is probably the best of the Popeye ones. And another crappy Popeye horror movie came out a couple of weeks ago that I still haven't watched. But the last one I watched, Shiver Me Timbers, was so fucking bad. It gave me eye cancer. I hate it.
I thought Screamboat was decent, like for what it was. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. If you're just accepting of the cheesy movie and the silly concept, then it's, at least there's some decent kills. It just, it's a little tropey for me, with the characters, the shitty
God bless
chicks
you
at
guys.
the bachelorette party. What's that?
God bless you guys for watching all these.
Oh, I don't watch them all. The only reason I watch Screamboat is just because it seemed like out of all of them, that was the one that got consistent. Like
that one's like the Godfather of the.
Well, yeah. I mean, I went to the premiere last month. Compared to all the other Steamboat Willie movies, yes, it is The Godfather. I mean, my worst movie of the year this year, literally, I gave it a 1 out of 10, is one of those Steamboat Willie horror movies. So, yeah, they're not good.
Isn't Carly about to be in like a Popeye horror movie?
She is.
I believe so, yes.
From the director of
work is work.
Carousel.
Do you know the title? What the title is going to be?
No idea.
I
saw a post about it.
Olive oil.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
saw that.
That's
picture.
right. She did say that.
I can't remember if she ever said what the title was yet.
She has to channel her Shelley Duvall.
Venom, another exciting.
Popeye.
Popeye. More exciting news for Venom. Megan 2.0 is getting a harder PG-13 rating, whatever the hell that means.
Yo, man.
So I'm going to hate it just a little less.
Yo, man. I went to go see fucking Thunderbolts with my fucking nephew, and we went to the Dolby Theater, and they played that trailer. He's like, I don't want to see that. And I'm like, I don't blame you, buddy.
It doesn't even look like it's a horror movie anymore.
It looks like a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah. See, that's one thing I really, really hate when they try to make a hero out of a villain. I can't stand that. I mean, I haven't seen the trailer. I've just heard little bits and pieces that there's another AI, antagonist in the movie. So, but I mean, that's part of the reason why I hated 3 from Hell. I hated 3 from Hell because they tried to make the Fireflies into the heroes at the end, and the Fireflies are not fucking heroes. They're sadistic scumbags. I want to see them do sadistic scumbag things. I really hated the end of 3 from Hell. That whole final act of that movie can go to hell actually. So.
Along with the first and second act too.
Mike doesn't like fun.
Let me see your tsunami, motherfuckers.
Oh man, I will say, I mean, I'm not a Sherry Moon fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I will give her credit for her best performance in 3 from Hell. She finally went headlong into the character of Baby Firefly, and especially the scene in the jail early in the movie, I thought was an amazing scene from her. And I would never give her credit for being an amazing actress. So I'll give her due because, I've famously said I don't like her. Nothing personal, obviously. I don't know the woman, but just the nepotism. Well, I guess nepotism wouldn't technically be the correct term, but whatever the term is for fucking the director.
It's like fucking Tim Burton in every era of his fucking movies.
Yeah, but Helena Bonham Carter is fucking talented. See, there's a difference there. Like,
you always tell which era. You can just call them whatever era Tim Burton, whatever girlfriend he's dating. Like the Lisa Marie era is probably his best era. And then the experimental era is the Helen Bonham Carter era. Now we're in the Monica Bellucci era.
Bellucci.
Wait, Venom, have you seen or heard of the Future Ruins Festival coming up in LA? The lineup of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't looked into it. I've seen banner ads for it, but I don't have the money to do anything. So unless it's free, I won't be there.
Yeah, I can't. And it's fucking. I'm in Massachusetts, so fuck off with this question.
Well, I mean, I'm in Northern California, which is like almost like driving across the country to get to LA from where I am. But John Carpenter, Danny Elfman, and Goblin at the same festival. I'm like, holy shit!
It's like that scene in Endgame with all the fucking people come through the portals.
What's funny? I mean, I've seen them all individually, so I'm just not sure.
Yeah, same.
Should I bother spending the money to see them all together?
Actually,
I mean, I've seen Carpenter 2 of the last 3 Halloweens. So
yeah, correction. I haven't seen Elfman, but I've seen Goblin and.
If they just get fucking Tangerine Dream in there, that'd be fucking.
I saw Oingo Boingo open for. Oh shit! Who did they open for? I can't remember now. My mother. I didn't even want to go. My mother dragged me to it for some reason. I think she couldn't get a babysitter, but I do remember thinking Oingo Boingo was pretty cool. For whatever
weird science.
Dead Man's Party.
Yeah.
There you go. That was a good tune. Yeah.
Fucking every song from Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm Jack the Pumpkin King.
Fucking Chris Sarandon. Gotta love him.
Oh yeah.
Well, when he's speaking, Chris Sarandon. When he's singing, it's Elfman.
Oh yeah. Kidnap the Santa Claus.
I don't have anything else for news. You guys got anything?
I got nothing. Fake news today. All in the world.
Yeah, I am pretty out of news after all that. So I guess with that said, we can take our break because we're going to be talking some Hammer horror pretty soon.
Yeah, I need a break after you mentioned fucking Megan 2.0.
Yeah, we got And the Screaming Starts and Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter coming up. So
with Carolyn Monroe and her boobies.
Ooh. All right, well, we'll be right back to talk 2 movies.
It all began with a curse from the grave.
The evil you did this day will be avenged.
A curse of the dead hand. The dead hand that crawls, creeps, and kills. The dead hand that lives. And now the screaming starts. For them. And for you.
Who is he? Your master? The K stands for Kronos.
Captain Kronos. And he's not my master.
Witchcraft and necromancy. It's the rumor in the village.
What's wrong?
I thought I saw someone over there.
The girls you spoke of, they were not drained of blood, but of youth, of life itself.
What he doesn't know about vampirism wouldn't fill a flea's codpiece.
There are as many species of vampire as there are beasts of prey. Their methods and their motive for attack can vary in 100 different ways.
This thing attacks to sustain life, youth. That's what we'll be seeking.
Kronos!
This is God's blade, forged for your black heart.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. Promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go! And now, on with the show.
All right, we're back, and we'll just do this in chronological order. I think they only
the screaming starts.
Oh. Yeah. And the screaming starts. All right, now the screaming starts, to be specific, from 1973.
What a fucking name of a movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie, or a great title of a movie. What do we think of the movie? Well, it's takes place in England, 1795. The young Catherine has just married Charles Fengriffin and moves into his castle. She becomes a victim of a curse that was laid on the family long ago. On her wedding night, she is raped by a ghost and gets pregnant.
Yeah, that's the movie.
That gives it away. Why would you put that plot point in the synopsis? That gives it away.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, like, a lot of the advertising for this movie, like if you see the trailer or like promos, it kind of, or even the poster, it kind of makes you think like the movie is about
Peter.
A
they have
severed
Peter
hand.
Cushing in the fucking first name of the movie. He's in the movie for fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it makes it think it's like a movie about a severed hand chasing someone through a house for 90 minutes, when the severed hand is there, and it is cool for what we see, but that's not like the main.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it.
So, anyways, for me, first time watch, and I really liked it. The rating on IMDb is only a 5.9. That's lower than I would have it, but maybe it's the first time watch effect where like I just liked the mystery. I liked how it unfolded. I liked how it kind of sets up with like a ghost kind of like haunting story, but when the pieces start falling into place and then we get the backstory explaining like what's going on. I just really liked how it built, and like being a Hammer horror, the sets are always cool. There's always like a squeaky gate with a graveyard with fog rolling through it. You get like all like the classic cinematography you would expect in a Hammer movie. And for the most part, I just liked it. I thought the cast was really good. Like Derek said, we get Peter Cushing, but the movie doesn't rely on him because he's not in it for a whole lot of the movie. I would call the role significant in what he does as the doctor. Like he's there to get to the bottom of things, but I don't think it's a movie carried by him necessarily, which is good because, like Derek mentioned, he's only in it for not so long.
The second build of the movie is fucking Herbert Lum, who's in it even less, but we get to see his rapey-eyed portrait a lot.
Yeah. But what I really like about the movie is like, the first half hour or so, it's setting up where it could have ended up just being like a standard basic like haunt. But because of like where we get with the story and how it's almost more like a curse that's causing
the original
haunt.
Ghost Dad.
Yeah, I was really pleased with this movie, first time watch, and I'd like to see what everyone else has to say about it. So Venom, I'll start with you. Have you seen it before? What did you think?
I wasn't sure if I've seen this one before. As I was watching it today, scenes seemed very familiar to me. A lot of the scenes with like our main protagonist kind of in bed and pregnant. Like I remember a lot of those scenes, but I have no real memory of seeing the movie other than little bits and pieces here and there. So I can assume it's not a first time watch, but let's just say for all intents and purposes, it is. So I'm right there with Mike. I had a pretty good time with this one. I thought that this ending, man, when you really think about this ending, this is a very, very dark ending. Where the movie, where our main protagonist is left, in that bed holding a baby that doesn't belong to her husband. Her husband's about to spend the rest of his life in jail. It's like, oh wow, that is a heavy ass. Plus all of the trusted staff have been practically killed off at this point. So yeah, I thought it was a very, very dark ending. Overall, decent performances. The story was kind of weird. Like once we get to the end, like I'm glad I didn't read this synopsis, because raped by a ghost is not necessarily obvious when you're watching the movie. The scene in question, we see that she's being held down by a ghost, but it's not like Rosemary's Baby where we actually see like someone mounting Rosemary, so it's very implied in this movie. But because it's so implied, the whole time you're just like, how the hell, like what is going on with this ghost hand? How is it that it can appear and disappear at will? Like, I like, we never actually get too much of a, how can I put it? Like the curse itself isn't really explained to us. Like I can't imagine just any old person, from the 1700s could just curse someone and it's actually going to work. You know what I mean? Like what was so special about this one? Like, yes, the event that precedes the curse is horrific. It's awful. It sucks. But it just like why did his curse work and someone else didn't? I don't know. We don't really get a lot of backstory on the Silas family. We just get Silas and son of Silas, and we just have to accept that their curse worked. Okay, fine. I'm the kind of guy, I don't necessarily need my explanation spoon fed to me, but at least I'd like an explanation. Like give me a half-ass one at least. So
they both look alike.
Yeah, I know. And then the baby being born without a hand. How the fuck does that make sense? On what planet does that make sense? The birthmark, yes, obviously.
Venom,
I was expecting.
You know where the hand went, right?
No.
It went to fucking Mae Young, Mark Henry's baby.
God.
Oh, Jesus. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, you did. Yeah, like I said, on first watch, there's a little bit of confusion, as far as like how the curse works, what the eventual end is going to be. Obviously, by the time you actually get to the third act, you kind of start to see where it's going. And once we get to the birthing scene, we almost expect it. We almost expect to see that birthmark. So it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more explanation on the curse itself. Why did it happen to work for him? But, millions of others who try to curse people, it doesn't work. But like I said, performances were fine. Herbert Lom was awesome. Peter Cushing, we only get him for half the movie, but for the half of the movie that he's in, he's still enjoyable. There's no bad performance from Peter Cushing. When he half-asses it, it's still fucking exceptional. So, just his presence in here does a lot. I actually am a big fan of Patrick McGee. I actually love that dude. He's one of my favorite, like,
Orange, man.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite like toady characters. Whenever he plays like the sidekick or a toady of somebody, like I always think he does a great job. And yeah, as the crippled man in Clockwork Orange, amazing. But yeah, like I said, good performances, good score, amazing atmosphere. Like that's where Hammer and Amicus movies really shine. It's in their atmosphere, their gothic tension. Just it's the presentation that really makes it for me. So when we actually also get a good story on top of that and good performances, then it makes the whole thing that much easier to watch. Like I said, I'm not going to rave about this movie necessarily. I think Mike maybe liked it a little bit more than me. But overall, yeah, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the mystery of it. The image of, Silas, the ghost Silas walking around with no eyes and missing a hand, I thought was great because we don't get the explanation of why he looks like that until the end. So that aspect of it, I did like.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I had a pretty good time with it. Nothing that really blew me away, but, if Carolyn Monroe is not going to be in the movie, then why am I even here?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
All right, Derek, what about you?
This is actually a second time watch for me. Actually, have this on Blu-ray because it was part of the Amicus collection that Severin put out. It was this, and actually another movie that we talked about, Asylum, was part of this box set, and I think The Beast Must Die. That was another one that they put out with this. I think there was another movie. I could be mistaken though. There was a few like extra discs and shit too with that. But the thing about like how it feels kind of familiar, and that's probably has to do where the movie is set and filmed, because it was filmed in Oakley Court, which actually was used in a shitload of movies. This place where they filmed, actually, probably the biggest movie that they filmed here was Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was the same building and everything. Yeah. A few other horror movies, a few Hammer movies were filmed there, like the Old Dark House remake. Another movie that I actually really love is Girly, which is another like kind of like psychological horror movie that takes place in this place. Actually, the big scene that takes place with the actual pool table that's in the actual castle too. It's actually a hotel now. It's, like I said, there's actually like a cool documentary on Oakley Court on the actual disc for And the Screaming Starts, and that's what I love. It brings the atmosphere to the place because it is kind of like this looming building, especially when we first like in the credit sequence, which has some of the best shots of when it's like driving up to it, which is kind of cool. And yeah, the atmosphere is there. It's a little slow burn for me. Like it gets a little good going when you find out like what's going on, because it's kind of like when they do kind of explain what's going on, it's kind of like this thrown fast pace. Like I feel like the first like 46 minutes of this movie is like slow burn, but then after that, because then you get Peter Cushing in the movie and stuff, it starts to like just fly because Peter Cushing's doing Peter Cushing shit.
And he ain't got time for this shit. He has other matters to get to.
He's like, oh, thank you. With his wig.
Oh, that wig.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And then you get Herbert Lum in the movie when we get to like the flashback sequence where he's like the precursor of like this whole curse. And man, Herbert Lum gives the best bitch slaps ever in movies. He just slaps that dude. He's like, get down, bitch. Listen. Like I see him fucking bitch slap like he did. Like he always plays like a great like rapey dude too, because he did this in Mark for the Devil like a few years before this one, and he did like he just looks like one of those guys like he's like kind of like a Cameron Mitchell type where he just pops up in these movies. He's like the British Cameron Mitchell. That's how I would describe Herbert Lum. And he's weird because he was actually in a movie with Cameron Mitchell like a few years in the 80s, with fucking Donald Pleasance too. It was fucking awesome. But that's for another podcast. But like the build up and then the ending happens, and it kind of like leaves your mouth drop, like because you expect, like Venom said, like the fucking birthmark, but then they're like, hey, this baby's gonna be born with a fucking stumped hand too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Poor kid.
Well, like this kid's never gonna have a chance in hell, and it leaves you like wondering: is this like a rebirth of Silas, the OG? Like, it's kind of confusing in that aspect because Silas and Silas Jr. are played by the same actor. Even Ian Eagley, or whatever the fuck his name is, he's in a few different like British horror movies, most notably like Witchfighter General. And like a lot of the Michael Reeves movies, I think he's in all of those. But the cast of this is fucking nuts. It's a good cast for this. And it's kind of like a big thing because this is actually like one of Amicus's like only like because they're pretty more known for like doing anthology horror movies. This is like one of their only like movies where it's like one fucking story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of an interesting aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I dig it. Like, is it perfect? No, but didn't hate my time watching it either. But like I said, it's a little slow burn at the beginning, but then once it then it just fucking breezes through for some weird reason. But I think it should have been like the same pace throughout it, kind of way, because they should have did a little bit more backstory. Like I agree with Venom on some of like the curse aspects of it.
I didn't have too much of an issue with the pacing. I was actually happy that they actually gave us some horror set pieces fairly early. Like literally in the first scene, the hand pops out of the painting at our protagonist Catherine. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
and then for the rest of the movie, yeah, exactly. And then for the rest of the movie, the severed hand, we see it pop up, fade in, fade out, kill somebody, leave, whatever the case may be. I will say I thought that the maid kill was maybe a little silly. I know what they were implying. They were implying that the ghost hand was choking her, but it was just that the way it was shot felt kind of silly. Like it almost looked like she just fell down the stairs for no reason. But like I said, I understand what they were implying. It could have been done a little bit better, maybe. But
yeah,
overall, I still had a really good time with it. I mean, it's a fun movie, absolutely.
I thought that,
and like I said, anything with Herbert Lom, I'm down to watch. I fucking love that dude. Any movie where he's a villain, I will watch. Absolutely.
Oh, did you ever see the fucking Sect?
Yeah, love it.
Oh, it's fucking great in that.
I kind of thought the same. There was another kill in there too, where I forgot what character it was, but it seemed like they were implying that the hand was choking him, and then he fell in the corner. And it was
I think that was the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Doctor
okay.
Kill? Yeah.
Yeah. Where it was like, it would have been nicer to get like more of a shot of the hand.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That was another thing that I questioned too. Like, can only the people that are being attacked by the hand see the hand? Because in that scene where the doctor is killed, the hand is like very obviously right there on the windowsill before the doctor gets up, but nobody reacts to it. And then as soon as the doctor walks through the window, he acts like he's been choked. And it's like, so like, is the hand only appearing for us, the audience, or can anybody in the movie actually see it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the one scene where Catherine tries to stab the fetus, the hand kind of gets in the way. I guess is some confirmation that she can at least see the hand. And obviously the hand stopped her from killing the baby, which at first I thought that was kind of interesting, but then like I thought this was going to turn out to be like a ghost is actually trying to be helpful type thing, as opposed to, a ghost actually trying to do harm to someone. But no, it's just a ghost trying to do harm to someone.
Oh, yeah.
What else? I don't know. That might be all I gotta say about
it's kind of a basic movie, It's like it's there.
Yeah. A lot of elements of Hammer movies in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Herbert Lom fucking exercising prima nocta. Holy shit, that's fucked up. That is some fucked up stuff. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is why I love the guy. He looks like a villain. He's one of those guys that you just look at him and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's the bad guy. Like he has to be the bad guy. But man, his level of depravity in this movie, holy shit. Like and that's just the stuff that we saw on camera. Imagine what else he's willing to do,
One of my favorite fucking Phantom of the Operas was fucking the Hammer one with him as the Phantom. Fucking
nice. Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love Phantom in general. I mean, I remember I saw the original a couple of years ago at a little theater out here in Oxnard, California, and they had a live score. They actually had a guy playing a Wurlitzer, that big ass organ. And he was actually playing the score live. It was fucking amazing. So yeah, I'm down for any Phantom adaptation. Even the Robert Englund one. Whatever, I'll take it.
I fucking love that movie. It's like a guilty pleasure for me.
Love might be a stretch, but I do mildly enjoy it. Yeah.
It's better than it's actually better than it's kind of crazy. Like Bill Nye just pops out of that movie. Like Bill Nye is like, fucking awesome.
Another actor I absolutely love. Almost everything he does. Awesome. Kill Phil. Anyway, what else we got, Mike? Come on.
Come on.
We have another movie. It's
What?
called.
I didn't sign on for that.
Yes. Well, Captain Kronos, vampire hunter, is coming to save the day. He's the only man alive feared by the Walking Dead, according to the movie's poster. This one is labeled as a dark comedy, adventure, horror, mystery, currently sitting at a 6.4 on IMDb. I want to say the reason I paired this one is because JP, of all people, is like, oh, you should talk about that one because no one has seen it or no one talks about it. So I was like, I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, because I had never seen it before either. The synopsis is one sentence, so maybe it hides a little more, but maybe not. A master swordsman and former soldier and his hunchbacked assistant hunt vampires. I guess that's all you really need to set up this movie. Obviously, that's like there's a little more to the story, but basically that tells you what we're in for. This one's very different than I would say than like your standard Hammer horror. Like obviously it's cinematography, it looks like a Hammer horror movie. Like when the movie opens, that same film style, a lot of the same cinematography, a lot of the same settings, a lot of beautiful shots, a lot of beautiful women in peril, like all the markings of a Hammer horror. But I feel like the way the story kind of follows like almost like a traveling vampire hunter that it's almost like Blade in like a sense. He doesn't have like the powers of Blade or anything. Like he doesn't have that kind of a backstory as Blade, but as far as like I'm seeking out wherever I'm needed to hunt vampires and kill vampires. And then of course the movie follows like a specific backstory with a vampire that he's currently hunting. So that's kind of how the movie is set up. We'll start with Derek on this one. What did you think of Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter?
Yeah, this is actually a first time watch for me, this movie. Yeah, this is fucking kind of like a Hammer's the gift that keeps on giving, because I fucking love this movie with a passion. And one thing that I kind of nerded out about when I found this out is the guy who actually directed this movie, Brian Clemens, he actually was a writer and some of fucking he has like the craziest filmography ever, because he did like fucking And Soon the Darkness, which is a nice kind of like British folk horror movie. He wrote Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which is another kind of like one of those kind of underrated Hammer movies. It gets kind of talked about now, but back in the day when I seen ads for it, I think no one talked about it, but it's pretty good. And the one that me and Venom probably most known for writing is he wrote the fucking the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which we actually did an episode on Creature Comforts of which actually ironically actually also starred Carolyn Monroe.
Woo!
Oh yeah. Another quick other note: he also wrote the movie Watcher in the Woods from 1980, which is an underrated like Disney horror movie from the 80s with Betty Davis, which I love. But yeah, he's got some cred, and the thing that I feel like this one like kind of plays on it, it's kind of like a genre bending movie in a sense, because you kind of have like this weird like kind of like British Western tone where like this guy's going around hunting vampires. It's kind of, and you get like that undertones of like later stuff like Vampire Hunter D. I think the guy who created that was probably a fucking fan of this movie. So I kind of see that element of it. It's kind of a cool like kind of like you get like that horror element straight up like at the beginning, but then it kind of mixes like this kind of like swashbuckling action-y stuff, which Hammer is also known to do. They actually did a few like pirate movies. Like I actually seen a few of them, and they're pretty good for what I see. And Christopher Lee's in them, so that's even better to watch those. Speaking of like the Three Musketeers stuff, like there's some swashbuckling in those too, and Christopher Lee's one of the bad guys in those movies. But yeah, is kind of like a interesting casting of Captain Kronos because the actor is a German actor, and if you didn't notice, he's dubbed with a British actor voice, so that's not really him speaking when he's talking. I actually found that out watching the documentary.
Yeah, we are vampire hunters.
Kiss me, Caroline. No, imagine. But anyways,
terrible.
Yeah, but Carolyn Monroe, I always loved. Like, I grew up watching her in like The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Few of like the other like Doug McClure movies that she was in, like At the Earth's Core, which also starred Peter Cushing. I think that was actually an Amicus production too. So she kind of was all over the place too with that, because she did a few Hammer movies and she did a few Amicus movies too, like a more of like the actiony, like sci-fi stuff. But yeah, I dug it. Good stuff.
Nice. How about you, Venom?
I'm gonna echo a lot of what Derek said. I absolutely love this movie. This movie is fun from beginning to end. I mean, we get a vampire attack in the very opening scene, so there's not a whole lot of waiting. I like that these vampires are more, life force type vampires as opposed to bloodsuckers. Any kind of original aspect that somebody can add to a vampire story works for me. And for 1974, I would say this is a fairly original one. I love our main character. Yeah, Kronos is great character, great swashbuckler, sword fighter. I mean, I almost feel like he's a better sword fighter than vampire hunter, because the very first scene where they try to trap a vampire, they fail. I mean, there's a reason for it, which, you find out about in the next scene. But I just remember thinking, oh, yeah, you're a better sword fighter than vampire catcher. That's for sure. But I got to say, like, for a vampire movie, two of my favorite scenes in here are the sword fighting scenes. Like, that bar scene where he kills 3 guys with 2 swipes, like, that was epic. I don't care. A little bloodless. Like, obviously, if that exact scene were done today, it would be a way gorier affair. But for what it was, I thought it was really cool. And then the fact that he just, as soon as he kills those 3 guys, he just turns around and goes, "You didn't answer my question." Like, just right back to the conversation. He's so no nonsense. I really dig it. The professor. Why the fuck did we have to give him a hump? Was it just so that the guys at the bar would make fun of him? Like, was that literally the sole purpose of him having a hump? I don't know. I understand the Igor kind of parallel, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, he's an intelligent professor. Not to say that someone intelligent can't have a hump. I understand that. That's a physical malady, not a mental one. But it's still, I don't know. It just felt so weird and contrived, like unnecessary. But still, it does set up a great scene in the bar with those 3 idiots that make fun of him. So at least I'll take that. The cinematography in this is where I'm going to disagree with Mike, where Mike was saying that we get a lot of kind of the same cinematography between the 2 films here. I think the cinematography here is head and shoulders above our first movie. There are some gorgeous shots in here. There's one shot in particular where the camera has a big crucifix in the foreground, and in the background, you see what you think is the shadow of the crucifix, but then suddenly it moves. That is a fucking amazing shot. I mean, I rewound it like twice to watch that shot over again. It was so perfectly done. There's some great shots like through the horse-drawn carriage where the camera will be still, but then the carriage will come into view. But they'll set it up perfectly so that, the camera's looking through the windows of the carriage to something that's happening in the background. It just, the cinematography here is stellar. Like that's where I think this movie shines, is in its visual presentation. There's some iconography, some imagery in here that's just absolutely stellar. Some beautiful shots. And speaking of beautiful shots, let's talk about Carolyn Monroe. My God, I'm gonna say that May 2025 is the month of amazing brunettes, because on Fresh Cuts we've had 3 weeks in a row now where we've had some very attractive brunettes as the protagonist, and now here's Carolyn Monroe making them all look like garbage, because she is just an angel on earth. I mean, I look at Carolyn Monroe in this time period and I think she's fake. I look at her and I'm like, that can't be real. That can't be a real woman. Like God isn't that good. Like, how did he do that? But yeah, sorry, trying to minimize my misogynistic comments here, folks. So please bear with me. But yeah, holy shit. Carolyn Monroe. It's almost hard to watch the movie when she's in it. She's so freaking gorgeous that I like, it's like the dialogue goes in one ear and out the other because I'm just staring at Carolyn Monroe. So yeah, any movie that she's in automatically gets better in my eyes. And she's a legitimately great actress too. You know, this isn't Megan Fox who just looks good but can't act her way out of a fucking paper bag. No, this is a actual attractive woman with actual talent. So yeah. And then, just like I said, I will say that the vampire action is a little minimal here for a movie called Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. There's not really a whole lot of vampire action. You get, you get the whole life force drainage in a couple of scenes, but we never actually get to see
a black coat.
Yeah, we see the black robed figure, which, obviously the black robed figure is iconic. It looks like the Grim Reaper. And then the way that it leaves its victims looking like they've aged 80 years in a couple of seconds, like that's all cool. I'm very down with that. But like I said, I just wish that there was a little bit more vampire action. Like, we don't even get confirmation of who the vampire is until like practically the last 10 minutes of the movie, which is fine. But I don't know. I would have liked to have seen him have a little bit more fun with it, though there's a lot of red herrings in this movie. Like, every character could potentially be the vampire or vampires. But yeah, overall, just really fun, great pacing, amazing cinematography, beautiful imagery, iconography, displayed throughout, a great, main character in Captain Kronos.
The theme music.
Fucking music. Yeah, I didn't even bring up the score. The score is great too. Like, this is like I said, watching these movies back to back, and I literally watched them back to back. I watched them both today, literally 1 minute apart from each other. And I think watching And the Screaming Starts now, or Screaming Starts, watching that one first, I think may have done it a disservice, because Captain Kronos is so much better that I almost ended up forgetting half of the first movie because I was so into Captain Kronos. But yeah, overall, I love this movie. Like, this is one that I would definitely own. Like, this is a great film, fun.
Oh, dude.
It's got replay value, and like I said, Carolyn Monroe is not hard to look at. So yeah, overall, love the film.
Oh, you love this 4K I have then, Venom, because Carolyn Monroe has a new introduction on the movie. She does a new commentary. New commentary with her and Brian Clemens' sons on it.
Nice.
Yeah,
and that's a woman who's been attractive for like 60 years. Like she aged, but she still looked good aged. God damn it.
She's my favorite part of Don't Open Till Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh my God. Like I said, she's got some spectacular DNA. So, God bless.
Yeah, that's something I like about this movie is it does what like some Hammers do throughout the years, is which it kind of like takes the basic formula, but it really expands it out and it gets really creative with the characters. So we're not just getting like traditional Universal monster interpretations. We're adding different elements to the story, like the vampire hunter in this, Captain Kronos. Like, he's not what you'd expect. All the cool sword fighting made me think I was watching like Princess Bride for a little while with Inigo Montoya. Yeah, I just in any time when you see so many Hammer films, anytime you can throw one on for the first time and really come away with like, wow, that was a new experience. It's something I really haven't seen in other movies necessarily, or at least not Hammer horror movies necessarily. It's not that often. Even when you see good ones for the first time, it's not all that often that you're going to find all these cool new wrinkles on the formula. And this one definitely did that. And as a first time watch, I was really impressed.
Yeah, 70s Hammer is kind of underrated Hammer because it's like near the end of their cycle, but they're still putting out like bangers like this, like.
Yeah, because usually at the end of a life cycle of like a certain subgenre or a certain fad, that's when it's either becoming a caricature of itself or it's all like satire making fun.
Yeah, that's when they started doing the 7 Golden Vampires.
Oh yeah, yeah. But for this one, to be as late
which
as
which ironically, I forgot to mention, the director of the first movie, Roy Ward Baker, directed that.
Oh wow, damn. But it looks like overall, everyone was really happy with this one.
Yeah, good picks this month, Michael. It's not too bad.
I know.
Go figure. What the hell?
I avoided getting yelled at.
Yeah, you didn't pick Shocker part 2.
More shocker and more shockier. Cool. Well, I mean, for my own well-being, I should end it on the high note of good picks this month, because it's not going to get much better than that. But so that's looks like it's going to wrap it up for our discussion on the movies and this episode of No More Room in Hell, which was number 67. But what else new we got out, guys? I'll start with you, Venom.
Let's see. The latest episode of Creature Comforts is available now. We take a look at our very first anime, our second animated film overall, but our first anime. And of course, if you're going to talk about anime and creatures, you're going to talk about Studio Ghibli. So, of course, on that episode, we take a look at Princess Mononoke from 1997. Great film, and a really fun episode on our part, like I said. So check that out. That is available now. We also have a new episode of the Crystal Lake Gift Shop, which will be available in the coming days. That one is in the can. I just got to go ahead and submit it to our network head, and it probably right around the time that the next episode of Fresh Cuts comes out. I think that one will be out. So I'm thinking Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week. And like that is episode number 9, where we looked at the episode Root of All Evil. Of course, that show is myself, Mike Merriman, and the lovely Miss Lacey Lou. So check that one out. We do one episode a month of that one, following the original Friday the 13th, the series TV show. And I think that's about all I have. I have a guest spot coming up either the end of this month or next month, but I'll hold on to that one until it's more official. And that's pretty much it for me. Just more Fresh Cuts every week. And, look out for all the shows on the No More Room in Hell family. That's it for me.
All right. How about you, Derek?
We might as well just have Venom just do it from now on, because that's about it.
Don't sound so sad about it.
I mean, Derek covers the majority. Venom covers the majority because I do most of my shows. I think right now, currently, I do all my shows.
I'm just happy being on the third guy of a show. That's all I ask.
You're the third guy on 2 shows. You're amazing.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh man.
Cool. Well, according to our rotation, is it back to Derek after this?
No, I think it's Venom.
It's me. Yeah, Derek did the last one.
All right. Venom. Do you already know what you're going to pick, or you still got to?
I do. I do, but I wanted to kind of discuss it with you guys because I think I want to do something a little bit different, where instead of 2 feature reviews, we're going to have 1 feature review and then overall discussion about a certain topic. I'm going to keep it under my hat for now. I'll share it with you gentlemen, as soon as we're done here. But I've got my movies all set, ready to go.
Oh boy.
I think we are kind of overdue for like not a format change for the show, but like just for an episode. Cause like I was kicking around doing something different for my picks, but I was like, I'm going to wait for like a 75th episode or something like that, or whatever my rotation hits around that time. So
if that's the case, I think I'm going to change up my next picks too, and we got to go.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, let's review some video games. Whatever.
Hell yeah. All right.
I got some comic books I could talk about.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I just got Batman versus Vampires, the first hardcover.
Ooh.
So. All right. Well, that said, thanks everybody for listening to No More Room in Hell number 67. It is time to descend back into the lake of fire so we can burn on some things until our next episode, 68. So until then, let's say bye to the listeners.
Goodbye.
Go out and get your American Werewolf and London Funko Pops, damn it.
So we're doing Deep Throat for 69?
Yep, and Behind the Green Door.
Excellent.